I know you can't bear to come away from my sausage rolls, which were made this morning by 9-year-old Oscar and 11-year-old Lottie. Now, Oscar's some of them are about that thick, and Lottie's were about that thick. So there's no consistency in size of the sausage rolls, but I believe they're delicious. They're excellent. Did you have a dip in the sauce? 2 of them. Okay, so homemade Ashton tomato sauce as well. So treat tonight, and thank you also to Anna who's made the chocolate biscuits. So I hope we've got enough over there. Chocolate biscuits coming out our ears, good. But the children did eat quite a few of the sausage rolls, so there are a few less than there should be. All right, okay, well, welcome everybody. It's lovely to see you all today. Could you pop your hands up if you're complete newbies today? 1, 2, 3. 3 newbies, 4 newbies. Welcome. It's lovely to have you with us in the midst of winter. The poor bees are struggling a little bit, but we'll get them through to spring, and they'll start up again and everything will be good. Have you all worked out the member jungle? I know Sandra's been explaining it on the way in. Anybody having trouble with getting themselves onto the member jungle app? Oh, have you? Okay, perhaps just talk to Simon at the end and help you with it. It is going to be a lot easier because we won't have reams and reams of paper for you to tick and that sort of thing. It's going to be a lot easier, isn't it, Simon? Lovely, but it is new, so it's taking a little while to get everybody on board. We definitely have a quorum tonight, which is wonderful, so thank you all for coming out on this cold, cold night. We are recording the meeting. I hope does anyone have a problem with the recordings of the meetings? Just that people can watch it later, and those that can't make the actual meetings physically can watch it later. And does anyone have a conflict of interest? Anyone have conflicts of interest tonight? No? Okay, fantastic. All right, approval of the previous meeting minutes, the general meeting on the 9th of June 2025. I know you've all sat there night after night reading them, but now we have to, with those ones, they come later. Okay, thank you, Bob. All right, straight into the special general meeting. All right. Reports, is that right, Bob? No? Doing a good job tonight. I think I need a sausage roll to get my brain going.
I'll come up and take hold of the...
Yes, you come up. This is Bob, everybody. He's going to run a lot of tonight's meeting, which is really good. Just while we're waiting for Bob to come up, there were and still are a few freebies at the back. We've got some kits. We do have some lighters, which are for your smokers. We do have a couple of buckets up the back as well. And we do have some foundation, 10 pieces of foundation in a bag for $20. So they're up the back there too. The supper is free tonight. And Josh, where are you, Josh? Josh is at the back. We're hoping to hear him tonight talking about, he's our VDO, our Varroa Development Officer, so we're going to have him talking, and all the bits and pieces on your seats are brought in by Josh. So thank you, Josh, for coming. And Michael, where are you? It's Michael. Oh, Michael. Oh, gosh, yes. Oh, welcome back, Adrian. He's been overseas for many months, so it's good to see him. And Michael Stedman is here too from PIRSA. So we're very lucky to have our development officers and our PIRSA people helping us through what is about to come. All right, Bob, I'll leave it to you.
Thank you, Trish. Okay, folks, I've got the pleasure of conducting a special general meeting for the purpose of accepting our constitution and our bylaws. And perhaps first and foremost, I'll just give an outline of what's going to happen, and We've set aside 3/4 of an hour, if we can fit it within that time frame, all well and good, and then we'll go into our general meeting, and there's a few announcements in our general meeting that the list is getting a little bit longer as well, and hopefully we have time for Josh to talk about the status of Varroa in Australia, more especially here for South Australia. With respect to the special general meeting, I'll just go through a prelude of necessary comments until we get to a stage where ultimately we've got to put a motion, and that motion will be moved and seconded, and then I will speak to the motion, and then after that stage it will be open for comment, because I know there are people who wish to speak against the motion, so they will get the opportunity to speak against the motion at that stage. And the same will apply when we go through our bylaws. It is necessary in both cases that we have a motion that has been moved and seconded before we can speak to it or against it. So I've selected 4 scrutineers. One of the things about a special general meeting is it's got to be passed by a 75% majority vote. So it is necessary that we do know numbers of people who are entitled to vote and those people who are not entitled to vote. So I've called on 4 scrutineers who I'm going to ask to stand up. Simon, David, Grantley and Barbara at the back. Could I get you to come forward, please, Barbara? And I'm just going to ask these people, while I'm going through the preliminaries, I'm going to ask these people to count heads, and then from that I will then call on those people who know they're not entitled to vote just to stand up, and we'll deduct one from the other, and we'll get a total number of those people who can vote, and that will assist us in deciding the vote. So Simon and Barbara, if you go down that side, and Grant and David, you do this side. Okay. So the purpose of the meeting is obviously to consider and vote on our proposed amendments to the Constitution and Handbook. We have had confirmation of notice of meeting, which was sent out prior to 21 days' notice, which is essential. We've had a presentation of our proposed amendments, and they were addressed by a slide presentation by Adrian before Adrian went away on his 10-week holiday. And we've had that period of time where our draft constitution was distributed in March. So we've had a period of something like 4 months to lead us up to tonight, when ultimately we'll conduct the vote. One of the things that is necessary for me to advise you of, in part of the process of preparing for tonight, our subcommittee agreed for our draft constitution and our draft bylaws, because in essence, they're really not an amendment, they are a rewrite. And that's what's happened is we've had a rewrite of our constitution and our bylaws, incomplete. They ultimately were submitted to the CBS, which is the Consumer and Business Services, who are the authority which oversee incorporated bodies with respect to us, with our constitution and our bylaws. We got a reply back from the CBS giving us a tick of approval for our bylaws, but a minor change is necessary in our constitution. And the advice of the gentleman from the CBS is that with the approval of the meeting here tonight, we can make those changes and include them in our final motion, which gets put to the meeting tonight. So can we have a couple of those slides, Simon? Thank you. Thank you, Simon. So this is the first clause, or this is the clause that has been picked out by the CBS, and it referred there, clause 10.3.5, a member has the right to appeal a decision of expulsion under section 61 of the Act. Can we have the next one, Simon? And we'll go back to that one in a minute. So, the suggestion from the CBS is that the member has the right to appeal a decision made under clause 10.3.4 through the process outlined in the bylaws. Now, 10.3.4 is obviously the paragraph before 10.3.5. Can we have a look at 10.3? Yep. So here's 10.3.4, and it says in our bylaws, the decision of disciplinary action may be to take no further action, reprimand the member, suspend the member, or expel the member. So the gentleman from the CBS is suggesting that it was wrong to refer to clause 61 of the Act. He would much rather us refer back to the bylaws that this is the action that the individual should take. So let's just go through that process again for any clarification. So that's what we put, and we've been corrected on that to read decision made under clause 10.3.4 through the process outlined in the bylaws. And the advice that we've got is you can make those changes and then table the final version at your special general meeting and provide commentary in the meeting why that single dot point has changed. The change is very minor, but a requirement so that it is compliant with the Act. So that simply is, by a show of hands, are you in agreement to accept, as the recommendation has been given to us, that change? Those in favour? Against? Thank you.
Bob,
Yes?
can I just ask for clarification there? It's referring to 10.3.4 through the process outlined in the bylaws. Are they referring to 10.3.4 in the bylaws?
In our proposed bylaws, yes?
Not the Constitution?
No.
So you're not flicking to the point above as opposed to in the bylaws, then, are you? Because 10.3.4 in the bylaws is
Sorry, it's in the Constitution. It's in the 10.3.5 in the Constitution, 10.3.4 in the Constitution.
well, it's said in the bylaws.
Pardon?
But it says outlined in the bylaws, not in
hang on. Clause 10.
It's not, actually. When you read,
Yes, so you're right. It's actually then saying to have a right to appeal, then you go over to the bylaws because they do the step-by-step action of the appeal process.
Yeah, it is. Because the reason why it refers back to the bylaws, one of the things that we have done in doing the Constitution and the bylaws, they are numerically interrelated. And that particular clause does refer back to the bylaws. So, perhaps, is it necessary to ask the question again, or you're happy with your vote? Thank you. That has been carried and it will be included as part of the motion, which will read, so the motion for the special general meeting with respect to our Constitution, that the Constitution of the Beekeepers Society of South Australia Incorporated be amended in accordance with proposed changes circulated to members on the 15th of June 2025, with the clause 10.3.5 further amended at this meeting. Is that understood? So the motion was sent out as such on about the 16th of June, that the Constitution of the Beekeepers Society of South Australia Incorporated be amended in accordance with the proposed changes circulated to members on the 15th of June 2025, with clause 10.3.5 further amended at this meeting. This motion has been moved by Amanda Rossi and seconded by myself, Robert Weir. So I'll speak to the motion at this stage and then I'll call on any other speakers. Being an incorporated society, we do need to have both a constitution and our bylaws. As an incorporated society, we operate under the Associations Incorporated Act of 1985 and the regulation updated in 2023. Now those regulations that I'm referring to there are regulations attached to the Act. And because they were updated in 2023, that's one of the reasons why we have had to look at our regulations and our Constitution. Those regulations and the example regulations which are attached to the regulations provided our subcommittee with sound reference to work from. As a subcommittee, we've worked closely within the guidelines of our initial PID, which is a product identification document, in providing members with the time to read the old documentation, to give feedback on suggested changes, and again to review the draft constitution, which was distributed on the 10th of March. And the results came back by the 7th of April, and then we worked to come up with the draft constitution as it is. As members will be aware, we are now to vote on the resolution to adopt the amended constitution as circulated on the 15th of June 2025, giving the required 21 days of notice. And as I referred to before, when we were talking about these motions, it was fortuitous that we as a subcommittee did call on the assistance of the CBS, and we got the feedback that we did, which was very positive. For the work that had been done by the subcommittee in quite a conscientious and open manner, we worked for a period of 10 months. So I'll now ask, is there any other person who wishes to speak to the motion? Yeah. Okay.
My motion that I would like to put forward is to defer the acceptance of the Constitution and bylaws to a later date when more detailed and open discussion about the points raised by members can occur. I'm not convinced that everyone has had a chance to read this document. I believe the Constitution in particular and the bylaws as well are written in what I describe as legalese, which is a style of specialised terms and language used in legal documents containing complex sentences, sentence structures and technical jargon that can be difficult for non-lawyers to understand, creating confusion and barriers to comprehension. I have lots of points that I could raise, but I don't necessarily want to spend the whole time going through them, but there are lots of things in both the wording and the terminology and the meaning behind some of those words that I think are limiting, quite frankly, very aggressive in their tone and in their use of the word, especially the word disciplinary action and what was the other one? Reprimand. I've never in all my life seen anything written like that in the document that's supposed to be our governing principles. So I object to that on principle, and I think it would be really interesting to see how many people have actually read both documents and understood them. Is it possible to have a show of hands? Can people put their hand up for those who have actually read the whole Constitution and the bylaws and understood them? Okay, right, one at a time then. I don't see 75% of this room putting their hands up.
They don't have to read it.
I think if we're going to accept a document as a guiding principle, then I think we should understand it, comprehend it, support it and agree with it. And I don't believe that's what's happening. I have a proxy from other people as well, and I have other points I could raise. I don't want to spend the whole time talking. I'm sure other people may also have things they want to comment, but if not, I can stand and start listing the other things.
Would you like to read your amendment again?
My motion?
No, your amendment.
My amendment is to...
Your amendment becomes an amendment to the motion.
Thank you. To defer the acceptance of the Constitution and bylaws to a later date when more detailed and open discussion about points raised by members can occur. The only other thing I really wanted to say is that I think the more important matter that needs to be discussed today is insurance. And that is something that we all need to discuss because our insurance expires on the 31st of August. And I'd like to know if we have an insurance company that we're going to be using because I think the time is very short, and I think that's a more pressing matter to discuss today rather than the Constitution that can be discussed at a later time.
Thank you, Aphrodite. With respect to the insurance will be spoken to in the general meeting which will follow. As best we can report at this point in time. So now we have an amendment to the motion, and the amendment is that we defer voting on the motion until some stage in the future. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay.
Yep. To give people more opportunity for open...
To give people more opportunity to understand. My comment is, constitutions and bylaws are necessary evils like an insurance policy, and every incorporated body needs to have them. We need to have them ourselves, and I justified the reason why we reviewed them. One, because the regulations attached to the Act were reviewed in 2023. So that prompted us to do a review. The other thing was that it was the members' wish that we review our constitution and our bylaws as a motion passed in our last AGM. So we acted on that, and that is how we've operated as a subcommittee for the period of 10 months this year. I perhaps agree with the comment that was made in as much as the majority of people don't read constitutions and bylaws. And it's only when all of a sudden we want to make a change to them that they become a red flag to a bull. So at this stage, I'm happy to put the amendment unless there are any other speakers. Yes, Hannah? For or against?
It's more of a question.
Okay.
Yeah. It's regarding.
It's regarding 7.10.6. Was there discussion about including the committee meeting minutes being available to the membership?
7.6 of our constitution.
7.10.6 of the Constitution under it states that general meeting minutes will be available to members, but I'd like to know whether there was discussion around including committee meeting minutes.
Without looking it up, hang on.
I'd like to answer that because this was a late query that came in from Trevor last evening, although we'd had no feedback through our consultation from Trevor. Under the Act, sorry?
That's immaterial.
Okay, fine. Under the Act, the only requirement is that we make the minutes of general meetings available to members on request. Now, a general meeting encompasses general meetings. We have special general meetings and annual general meetings, but there is no requirement under the Act to make the committee meeting minutes available.
Yep.
Thank you, Bob. Was it considered by the subcommittee that this might be something reasonable to include in the Constitution? Because I think a few of us sitting here would realise over the years there has been some toing and froing, and I think having an open exposure to the committee, the members having access to what's happening in the committee or what's happening in committee meetings would assist the society moving forward. So I'd like to know if it was discussed. I know what the Act says, but we're hoping to have a broad and open, transparent committee, and I'd like to know if this was discussed.
Could I address that?
Yep.
So right now, off the top of my head, I don't know whether there was a specific discussion about 776. We have to look at the minutes from the subcommittee meeting to answer that question. Secondly, as there is nothing stopping a future committee from choosing to publish its minutes if a certain committee chooses to do so. So I think we just, when we work on the Constitution, said what do we need to do to be compliant with the Act without trying to enforce too much additional overhead on what a future committee has to do.
Yep.
But to answer your question, I don't know right off the top of my head. We'd have to check all the minutes of the meetings that we had as to whether or not there was specific discussion about 776. So that's that. Have I addressed your question? Yeah. Okay. So the other thing is Aphrodite has moved that we amend a motion to defer to a future meeting. Has anybody seconded Aphrodite's proposal?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It has been seconded by Anna.
Okay.
All right. And as Adrian answered, I was going to confirm the same thing. It has been in the past where committee meetings have been reported back to general meetings, and I see no reason why it can't continue in the future. Yeah, it doesn't have to happen according to the Act, but I think it's good governance that we are transparent as a committee and report back to the general meeting as often as we can. And you, as members of the meeting, have the right to ask us. Yep. Thank you. So the amendment has been moved and seconded. I'm going to, by show of hands, simple majority. All those in favour of the amendment, please put up your hand. Pardon? Please repeat the amendment. The amendment is that the voting on the proposed constitution be adjourned to a further time once everybody has had more time, open discussion and time to read it. You're happy? Okay. I'll put the motion by show of hands. Those in favour of the amendment? So there's a proxy here. Any other proxies who are alert? Okay.
2 proxies here.
Okay, and you're voting for them? So or are those 2 proxies?
No, this is 2 other separate.
So there's 4 proxies.
You got 2 proxies. 2 proxies plus me.
So, and then I've got one.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you. Those against the amendment? Okay, 31 to 17? 31 to 17? Okay, the amendment is lost. The motion becomes the motion to be put, and this time the vote is required to be a 75% majority of those people entitled to vote. We know the number of the people in the room. Can I ask those people who are visitors, and if anybody knows that you're not financial, just please stand. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 to be taken off the total.
Oh, no, sorry.
No, the cameraman. 8 to be taken off the total. I'm going to ask the scrutineers now, who's got the plastic sticks? Please give out the plastic sticks to those people who are entitled to vote. Give some to Simon, and he'll do the other side. One plastic stick is all you need, folks. Pardon? Yes, the proxy gets a second stick. I've left the room. 95 have left. Oh, 5 have left. Okay, so you're telling me the total count has gone down by 5?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have got sticks here.
Pardon?
We have got sticks here.
Okay, I'm going to ask the question. Has everybody got voting material? Everybody's got a stick. Okay. I have just been advised that 5 people have left the room. So the head count needs to go back, and that's been confirmed by 2 people. So the head count needs to go back by 5. I'm going to call on our 4 scrutineer officers to come forward. You can have a heavy bucket. Okay, you can have a heavy bucket. And what I'm going to do, as far as collecting the votes are concerned, I'm going to call on the 2 scrutineers with the silver buckets to go down the left-hand side first and collect the voting material. And when they've finished on the left-hand side, they can then come to the front to do the right-hand side. Off you go.
Do you want to explain which bucket?
That's a yes bucket. That's a yes bucket. Put your yes sticks in the yes bucket. If you want to put them in the no bucket, hang on, come back here, David. Give him back his stick. Wait a while. No, just keep going. No, go down the left-hand side, Grant. Grant, go down the left-hand side. Go down the left-hand side.
And abstainers, Bob?
Pardon?
Abstainers?
That's all right. Okay, now come up the front, you 2 guys. Please go down the right-hand side and you go down the left-hand side and collect the rest. Are you in favour? Okay. Now we've got to collect. Okay, the yes votes. Will you go out in the room and count your votes? And please add on 1 more for myself. The no votes, you can collect them here. Thank you. Yes? Thank you. And then David and Barbara. Barbara. All right. Yep, put your vote in. Any more no votes to go in? Yes, over here. Up the back. Yep, Susan wants to vote. Have you voted, Susan? So nobody's got a voting stick. All got rid of your sticks? Bring the red buckets up here and you can count them here. Okay, now I need to know what are the numbers. No, yeah. Total number in the room?
Total number in the room, I'll have to get the other side to only count them alone. But there's 13 numbers, 58, and 5 with 3.
Yep. So we need to add your,
The other side,
have they added theirs to?
I'll go find it out.
Well, we'll wait for You may retire, Barbara. Thank you. There you go. Thank you for your patience, folks.
51.
Okay. We need to know the total number in the room. David?
No, but how many did you have when you counted on the outside? Yeah, starts off 36. 36. That equals 69 total. And we take less minus 13 is 56. People eligible to vote.
Okay. Okay, we need better than 42 votes. Okay, we've got a total of 56. Okay. I declare the motion carried. I declare the motion carried by 56 votes to 8. Thank you, folks. That's the Constitution accepted, and now I hope it's going to be less painful, if it has been painful, to accept the bylaws. So I move the second and last motion for the special general meeting, that the Handbook of Rules and Standing Orders of the Beekeepers Society of South Australia Incorporated be amended in accordance with the proposed changes previously circulated, and the amended document be hereafter referred to as the Bylaws of the Beekeepers Society of South Australia Incorporated. Again, this motion is moved by Amanda Rossi and seconded by myself, Robert Beer. For sake of sanity, I'm not going to labour the issue anymore. Are there any speakers against? Thank you.
Thank you. So given that we only received the bylaws on Friday, even though there was an email suggesting that we would have them by the end of June, there was no bylaws before Friday. So given that we've only had since Friday to now to read a 41-page document and no appendices that we can actually view at this stage, I also move that we defer passing it so that we have more time to actually read and understand it and comprehend it before we vote on it. Again, that's my motion.
That's your amendment. Okay, so it becomes an amendment. Can we have a seconder to the amendment? Thank you, Anna. Seconding the amendment allows it to be discussed. Is there anybody who wants to speak for or against the amendment? The only comment that perhaps I'll say is we can say we're sorry for the lateness of the distribution, and we did say that they would hopefully be distributed by the 30th of June. I can tell you the task has been onerous, and a lot of that task has been completed in the last few weeks by Amanda. At the end of the day, the subcommittee has been quite judicious in its application throughout, and we were rewarded by the comments that have come back from the CBS. So I just remind you that the CBS gave us a tick of approval for our bylaws. Let me remind you, we own our bylaws and we can change them by simple majority vote. And I would suggest that our bylaws become a working document for us as a society. And as we start walking through them, working with them, and we find any problems, we correct them. And we can correct them here on this floor by a simple majority vote. We can't do that with our Constitution. Yes.
So when are the appendices and the other parts of the documents being released?
When?
The bylaws mention appendices, that 5 appendices, they were not part of the documentation that came out. So when do we see them?
If you read the last page appendices, you'll see that the appendices are not part of the bylaws and they don't need to be the governance documents of the society. So basically when we vote on the bylaws, the appendices we're not voting on. But we're working behind the scenes. The code of conduct is already out. We're working on our policies, but we're not voting on the appendices tonight.
Okay, so we're voting on our bylaws, not the appendices attached at the back of it.
What's the rush? Why do we have to approve them tonight? What's the big rush?
There is no rush. It is a process that we need to go through. And as I explained, our bylaws are easier to review here within our own membership and society on this floor. And I would suggest that that's the way we handle it as we move forward. Any other comments?
With my squeaky voice. As we already let you know, when we restructured the bylaws, and it's an umbrella structure, and the headings in the bylaws match the Constitution for easy cross-reference. So if we pass the Constitution, which we have, and we don't pass the bylaws, we'll be working on the 2012 handbook. Now, the 2012 handbook has never been updated, and so basically that allows us to bank by cheque, not EFT. A lot of the current practices that we do are not in the bylaws, and they've just evolved to modernise things. So it's quite important for our day-to-day operations that the bylaws go with the Constitution, and the regulator, when we submit the Constitution, they like to compare them.
All right. Thank you, Amanda. I'll put yes.
Isn't there a time limit of which we need to be notified of any changes with the bylaws? Like, shouldn't it be like 30 days or whatever since it was sent out?
No. The irony of it is we are working within the guidelines. Yep. And as I said, the gentleman from CPS who gave us that reply that I read, that was dated last week. And it was his suggestion that we proceed with both the Constitution and the bylaws. Yep.
My concern is that just because it may meet an agency's just because it meets the requirements of an agency, that doesn't necessarily mean that it meets the requirements of the members. I think the Constitution and the bylaws should be here to support the members and should be accepted and understood by the members, not by another government agency.
Well, I can assure you they do support the members.
Well, my emotions clearly reflect that they're not easy to understand or comprehend and far too detailed, and the language is not conducive to easy understanding.
All right.
And in some cases rather aggressive in their language, which we've never had before. And I, as a member of the society, don't want to think that somehow, someday, someone may take it upon themselves to feel that we need to be reprimanded.
We have had in our old bylaws a paragraph for disputes resolutions, and it amounted to about a third of a page. We have adopted a Victorian model for handling dispute resolution, which is one of a more modern model to accept. And it was prepared in Victoria with advice from lawyers. We did compare models and we accepted that as the better model to work with. And we incorporated in that our society name.
Who's the we?
Who's the we? The subcommittee. The subcommittee. Perhaps I'll ask Adrian to stand up. Adrian, down the back there in Grantley. Amanda and myself, there's your subcommittee who've been working for the last 10 months. All right.
That, if memory serves me right, that was the Victorian model was recognised as best practice and has now gone into the New South Wales, Queensland and Western Australian BSSAs and other societies as well.
Thank you.
Because it's been recognised as best practice.
All right. Yes.
Mr. Beer, it seems that a lot of people have been working for a long time who know really well the running of the BSSA. Is there any changes to these bylaws which give any grounds at all for these people to be so concerned about accepting the changes?
No. That's my immediate answer. No, because we can work with them and change them as we come up to a problem. And if we do come up to a problem, let's work through it. Okay, if there's no further speakers, yes.
Just a question. So it's a model constitution that's been adopted. So also model bylaws that have been adopted.
The Constitution was based on examples of regulations which the CBS provide to organisations as models. And we use them as references as well. That was not our only resource. Obviously, we referred to the Act, the regulations, and our old bylaws, and the feedback that we got from our members. Yeah.
Sorry, so the bylaws are a model set of bylaws, are they?
Yep. And
Just the dispute resolution.
the dispute resolution part is a model that we've adopted from Victoria. The bylaws have been numerically correlated to the Constitution, as you will see, and right throughout, one refers back to the other for a cross-reference. The very fact that there are 41 pages and 5 of those pages are relevant to a dispute resolution, I think we've got out of it, quite lightly with the paperwork that we have. If there's no further comment or questions, yes, Simon?
My main concern is over the dispute resolution and the secrecy of disputes and the toxic culture that I've been exposed to the last 2 or 3 years in the committee, and how no one here seems to have any idea about the toxic culture in the committee and why we have so many good volunteers resigning.
Yep.
And no one here seems to have any idea about that, because I've been told, I've been gagged.
Yep.
You've been gagged. Give me an example.
Grant has told me I'm not allowed to tell the members what's really going on.
Okay, I'm not going down that pathway at this point in time. I'm going to stick to the topic and put the vote. By show of hands, those in favour of accepting the bylaws as...
Sorry.
Don't we have to vote on
Aphrodite's
motion first?
Pardon?
Don't we have to vote?
Oh, we've still got the amendment, sorry. I thought thought we'd voted. Sorry, thank you. The amendment is to defer the vote on the bylaws until sometime in the future. That motion was moved and seconded, and again by a simple majority vote. Those people who wish to defer the acceptance of the bylaws to sometime in the future, put your hand up for a vote. 2 because they're proxy.
No proxies?
Yep. 3 over here. Those against the amendment? Thank you. The amendment is lost. I'll put the motion. Those in favour of accepting the bylaws, if I read it properly, that the Handbook of Rules and Standing Orders of the Beekeepers Society of SA Inc. be amended in accordance with the proposed changes previously circulated, and the amended document be hereafter referred to as the Bylaws of the Beekeepers Society Incorporated. Those in favour?
Do you want numbers?
Yep. Those against? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the proxies? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How many in favour? 38 in favour and 9 against. So I declare that the bylaws have been accepted as moved. I now declare this special general meeting closed and hand back to Trish to open up the general meeting, and away we go. Hello. Where are we up to? Okay. Trish has handed over and said, well, we've had a welcome, we've had a quorum, we've certainly got a quorum, and that I will advise you that the notice that the meeting is still being recorded. As far as the general meeting is concerned, if anybody's read the proposed agenda. Okay. If you've read the agenda, I trust that anybody have a conflict of interest with the agenda? No. Approval of the previous minutes that were held on the general meeting on the 9th of June. Has anybody read them besides me? No? Any hands up? Thank you, Jim. So it's been moved that we accept those minutes. Anybody against the acceptance of the minutes? Okay. I'll say that those minutes are accepted. Can we have a finance report, Simon?
Hello. This is the financial summary for May 2025. You can see there's a healthy opening balance of $52,695.91. And I just wanted to go through this, this financial summary To just let you know, the committee has been working very hard to ensure that the Beekeeping Society is doing well financially, and you can see the membership there, fees of $620. Supper donations, raffle ticket sales are bringing in a healthy amount every month. And there you can see on the field day sales, it's minus $90. So what happened, when we transferred from Wild Apricot to Member Jungle, there were a number of historic refunds from field days that had to be cancelled that for some reason hadn't been applied to the members. So they were all done by Simon over the last couple of months, and that was $270 in refunds. So basically that's why the field day sales in May were minus $90, because those historical refunds were taken off. Honey sales have been doing well, and Hessian bags, we're working hard to sell the remainder of the Hessian bags we have in stock. And again, sugar sales have been very helpful as well, and that is through the donated sugar. And then we have some outgoings. We've sponsored a prize at the Royal Adelaide Show, which we've been doing for a number of years. There's membership website fees that will now cease because we've been transferred over to Member Jungle. So we're paying that on a yearly basis, so they'll now drop off the financial summary. And we've got the library and other fees. And there was a capital expense of this beautiful laptop here in May, and that was used for the live streaming of Stuart Anderson for the Flowhive presentation, and now it will be used for all our general meetings. And that's all I've got to say. Any questions? Good.
You're going to do that one when you get the mic.
Oh, you're getting me to tell all the bad news, aren't you, Bob? The intention to propose a motion to increase family membership at the annual general meeting. So membership fees have just increased as of the 1st of July from $65 per annum to $75. And when that motion was put through last year, we forgot about the family memberships, increasing those in line. So we're going to put the motion to the membership that the family membership fees will increase from $100 to $130 per annum, I think. But if it comes out at a different price, what can we do? I think that's what we agreed to. Yes, Bob? Okay, so yes, just to inform you that that's what's going to be happening. Any questions?
What's the time? Oh, there it is. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, do it. Thanks, Diana. Okay, so that finishes the reports. Some general business, some announcements, and of course, next month we move into our AGM, and so our AGM for our August meeting, and let me just clarify, the Secretary shall define the prescribed forms for nomination. So there are forms available for nomination. Nominations will be required with a seconder and a nominee using the prescribed form to be submitted to the Secretary at least 14 days prior to the AGM, with the Secretary endeavouring to publish all nominations at least 5 days before the meeting. If insufficient nominations are received prior to the AGM, additional nominations may be accepted from members attending the AGM. Floor nominees must be nominated and seconded and shall deliver a nominee statement outlining their skills, attributes and experience. It is recommended that members serve as ordinary committee members for at least 1 year before nominating for an executive committee position to develop a sound understanding of the Society's operation and governance. So that's the process for the AGM. We do need a form, and then we will publish as soon as we can those people that have nominated. Let me just advise. Thank you. Amanda's holding up some forms, so there are forms there. And I do advise all people who are members of the current membership, the management committee, who are renominating, to fill out a form. Our representatives on various external committees, and we have SAVIAC. Do you want to tell us what SAVIAC stands for, Simon?
South Australia.
South Australia Varroa Incursion something committee. Who? Advisory committee. Okay. And Simon is our representative. Sorry to put you on the spot. I didn't do. Okay. Our SAAA representative at this stage is Trish. Our APIDRG, there's another good one. What is it? Apiary Pollination Industry Development Research Group. Is that close enough? I think it is. Okay, is Anna. And our last committee that we have not got a representative on is the AIF, Apiary Industry Fund, SG Group, and both representatives have resigned, so that position is still vacant. My other comment on general announcements, at our AGM, we intend putting a motion to be passed and accept that we go ahead and buy an automated external defibrillator at the cost of somewhere in the vicinity of $3,500 for use at our apiary site, and it has been accepted by the management committee to be put at the AGM meeting.
Could I suggest that you might look for a grant for that?
We have,
You have?
and we got so close to completing the grant something like 12 months or more ago, and then we didn't comply. We just didn't fit the bill.
Well, there's lots
So
of grants.
we have been researching for other grants,
Yeah.
and we decided to proceed with the purchase of one.
All right.
Okay. The other comment that I got here on my announcements, Adelaide Hills Council proposed new bylaw. Here we go. Some of you are certainly aware that the Adelaide Hills Council is proposing a bylaw, I think it's called bylaw number 7, to introduce the bylaw for, I've got it in my hand, I'll put my glasses away, I may as well read it. The bylaw reads, Domestic Livestock and Bee Management Bylaws 2025, bylaw number 7 of 2025, for the management, control and regulation of the keeping of livestock and bees on residential premises within township and for related purposes. In this bylaw, keep includes care, feed, control or possess. Livestock has the same meaning as the Livestock Act, as does not include poultry, bees, dogs or cats. Road has the same meaning as in the Local Government Act, and township has the same meaning as in the Local Government Act. Beekeeping in townships. A person must not, without permission, undertake beekeeping on premises within a township. Now, as I said, well, I don't know whether I did say, the Adelaide Hills Council did not have a previous bylaw. And this is the introduction of the first bylaw by the Adelaide Hills Council for the keeping of bees. In essence, it is very similar to those local government authorities in the metropolitan area who already allow residents to keep bees with approval, with permission. So the other thing that I want to say in regards to it, we do have a PERSA document, and it's referred to as recreational beekeeping, a guide to beekeeping in South Australia. And what I would suggest is that we make sure that the Adelaide Hills Council is aware of this publication, because it does refer in this publication that's put out by PERSA hive management. Managing your honeybees requires time and commitment, hive density and location. Unless stricter council bylaws apply, the number of hives per property is limited based on land size. See the table below. And the table below identifies that with permission, if you've got 450 square metres or less, you're allowed to keep 2 hives. Up to between 450 and up to 1,000 metres, 3 hives. 1,001 to 2,000 metres, 4 hives. I would seriously recommend that we make sure that the Adelaide Hills Council have got that reference. More than likely they already have. I don't know, but I think it's necessary for us to make sure that they've got it. Any other comments anyone wants to make on that one? Any questions? Yes, Simon?
Just Adelaide Hills Council love their work. However, is this a lead-in to charging a fee for consideration of said application? Because it seems to be there's a lot of paperwork the AHC tends to generate, but doesn't necessarily ever check.
Well, to the best of my knowledge, I'm not aware of other local government authorities who are charging a fee for granting permission. I could be wrong. Things could have changed in recent times on that one.
Well, given the residential ratios that are in the PERSA document, it would appear that on the surface that the Adelaide Hills Council is going above and beyond and being just a little bit officious in its approach when there's adequate guidance out of PERSA and for common dispute resolution between neighbours.
Yep. Do you want to make a comment?
Howdy, I am Nathan Brown, also known as Handy Hobbs. Yes, I have been in touch with Adelaide Hills Council. They are trying to find the right way to go about this. So it's not a definite that they're going to do it. And no, they do know they don't have any authority as far as if you do have hives, they can't just show up and say, they're being a nuisance, put them away. What they're trying to do is work with people and make sure, say for instance, your hive starts getting really overly aggressive. They are trying to find ways in regards to either help you to manage them properly, or if you're a new beekeeper, you have no idea what's going on and you stick it in the wrong spot, let's say accidentally have it slightly facing towards your neighbour's driveway, and your neighbour is a little bit allergic, or they don't know if they are allergic and they actually get stung once or twice, they make a couple of complaints, then they'll pop over and say, hey, can we move this hive? They aren't trying to go about saying, if you have a hive, you're not allowed it in these residential areas. All they're trying to do is basically say, if you got one there, cool, we know we can't do anything because the rules and regulations with PRISA, but I have been in touch to make sure we can go about this the whole right way. And yeah, so I'm personally not worried about Adelaide Hills Council in regards to all this matter, because end of the day, if you're a beekeeper up in the Adelaide Hills, already have bees, you don't have to worry.
Thank you.
Right.
Yes.
Councils do vary a lot in their support of beekeeping.
Yes.
I got a grant to put bees in a community garden from the council. And of course, one could go the whole hog and have beekeepers stand for councils on a council.
Yes. Yes. I mean, some of us old timers have been involved with councils before with respect to bees, and it almost looks as though it's a bit of a cyclic process, but I've got to say, it is new for the Adelaide Hills Council to be introducing this bylaw. Josh, have you got 5 minutes? Do you want to say anything quickly?
Me?
Yes.
Good. All right. You've got 10 minutes. Minutes, the sprint. All right.
Let's go. Go get your Josh.
All right.
Good evening. Let's do a quick. Is it going to work? No.
Bob, do you want to talk about insurance while it's getting set up?
Yeah, okay.
You got to be quick, Bob. Very quick. You've got to be quick.
How long is it going to take you to set up? You go. Ready?
The situation with respect to insurance is that we have lodged 2 applications to insurers, one in Queensland and one in Victoria. The one in Queensland sent us a reply back within 2 hours saying we will insure the society, but we're not interested in insuring members for public liability or product liability. The company that we're talking to in Victoria are looking at the matter for us and have offered the suggestion that they would be interested in taking on the policy of public liability and product liability for the society as well as for members. Now they've got to get back to us with a proposition. When they get back to us with a proposition, we'll then send out some sort of a notice to our members, asking our members to nominate, and in the categories of beehives, whether you've got from 0 to 5 or 0 to 10, whatever the categories will be, so we have a list of names to submit to finalise for a quotation. I don't know when we're going to get a reply back from the crowd in Victoria. And John Bills is looking at a 3rd crowd for us at the moment, which I've got to have a yarn to him at the end of tonight about.
Time's up. Thanks, Bob. Okay, how are we all? So originally we had about 45 minutes to an hour. We've got 5 minutes now. So we are going to have to cut this very, very short. Now, in saying that, you're not going to miss out on anything because there's a whole bunch of resources that we can direct you to get the information from, as well as we can come back, right? So no stress. But what we are going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about varroa mite management. So here we go. For those that don't know me, my name is Josh. Hello, a few new faces, which is great to see you, so that's wonderful. Skip through that. I'm a Varroa Development Officer for Department of Primary Industries and Regions. I'll skip through this. So what we're going to look at tonight, originally we're going to talk a little bit about the spread of varroa mite across the nation, as well as in South Australia. Varroa has not yet been detected in South Australia that we're aware of. So it may be there, but we just haven't found it yet. We're also going to look at a little bit about IPM, Integrated Pest Management. So hands up who have heard about Integrated Pest Management. Very good. Okay, good. We're going to look at in developing a management and a treatment plan. So on your seats, you would have, if you haven't, there's a bunch down the front. So if you haven't got a bunch of paperwork on your seats, either under your bottoms or on your seats earlier they picked up, I would suggest either running forward to one of the front seats or grabbing one after. Okay, but they're on the front seats. Now, there's a bunch of paperwork which we'll go through and talk through now, and then we'll talk a bit about surveillance, monitoring, and so forth. So excuse me while I flick through some slides, and then we'll come back to sort of important information as we go. So current spread, as I mentioned, not yet detected in South Australia that we know of. How do we know that it's here? How do we identify it? Monitoring, right? Monitoring. Hands up who's monitoring their beehives right now. A few? Not enough. Okay? So monitor, monitor, monitor. We'll talk about that in a second. Heat map. If you aren't aware of it, there is a heat map now available for South Australia. This is the New South Wales heat map. There is a South Australian heat map. If you Google SA Varroa heat map, you'll find the link to it on the PIRSA website under the surveillance link. Very, very important that you utilise this because this heat map is only as good as the data that has been entered. So it's critical that we're monitoring and then we're entering our data both negative, and then when Varroa does get here, you're also recording your positives as well. That way we can identify where the Varroa is these hotspots of Varroa where it's coming in, and we can help manage that spread and making sure that beekeepers in those areas are prepared for it and making sure their bees are in the best possible positions. We're going to go through monitor, yes. Notifiable pest. Varroa is a notifiable pest, so it is your responsibility and an expectation that you will let us know. And that way we can implement a whole heap of resources and additional assistance to you when it arrives. Case studies. Now, there's a fair bit about case studies, and we're going to skip all that. We just simply ran out of time tonight. But we'll come back and do a whole session on case studies. But in the interim, what I can say is, and the whole thing about case studies and why we want to talk to you about case studies is it's basically evidence from what beekeepers are experiencing on the ground in New South Wales and across the country in other areas. We won't go into this one. It's about learnings, it's about what we're seeing and some observations that's important for you, particularly in this first early arrival of Varroa into a region. I'll talk about this one a little bit. A couple of weeks ago, Michael and I had the pleasure of going over to, well, I wouldn't say pleasure, going over to New South Wales and getting amongst some Varroa mite on some hives. This is the team over there. The one thing I want to bring to you tonight is the fact that when Varroa comes in, we've not had Varroa. We're in the very early stages of Varroa in Australia. So if you look at across the world with Varroa mite, New Zealand's had it for 24 years. America's had it for 40, 50. Europe's had it for thereabouts a little bit longer as well. So these countries have had Varroa for a very long time. They're well-established mite populations and they're managing. They have a viable beekeeping industry. Now Australia, how many years have we had Varroa? 2, 3, okay? We are extremely early in the game. And the biggest challenge that we're going to face is this early build-up and establishment phase. We have a lot of feral wild hives, and those mites are going to get into those hives, and they're going to become what we call mite bombs, where re-invasion, the mites are spreading and spreading into our managed hives, and the mite load, the mite numbers are going to be quite high. And that is a time that we need to really focus and pay attention to our bees and get on top of things, okay? So it's going to be a challenging first few years, but once we get past that establishment phase, based on the evidence across the globe, the populations will stabilise and it will be, in a sense of we can maintain a bit better control over those mites. All right. So this is just a little bit of some evidence of what we found in New South Wales a couple of weeks ago in an area where Varroa is and has been there for a little while, but not that long, so it's still building. So high mite activity to a point where we were picking up frames and we're having mites crawling on our hands. Okay, as you can, there we go, mites crawling on our hands from picking up frames. Now, mite load increases, we were seeing quite fast increases. So at the moment, how often should we be monitoring our beehives? At the moment, mite not being identified in the region, 13 to 15 weeks. As soon as we have mite identified in a region, three weeks we want to be monitoring. Because as we saw in this apiary, 3 weeks we were seeing mites increasing 14 times. Okay, so it's important that you maintain your monitoring. Now, this is what we're talking about, washing and uncapping and tapping. So a really great way, and don't disregard this method of detecting presence and absence of mite in the early stages of build-up and establishment, which is drone and worker uncapping, where you use your uncapping fork and you uncap a series of about 100 bees, pupae, ideally the purple-eyed pupae, and you can see what's inside the cell. For this frame here, we did a wash and we washed 4 mites. Okay, we had 4 mites come out in that wash. We then went and uncapped those mites. And with the forks, we pulled out those 100 bees and we found 9 mites. Then what we did is we got the back of a tub here and we got the frame that we've just uncapped and we tapped it on the box. And all of a sudden, we had all of those mites come out of the cells. So what we're saying here is when we're in this early stage of a Varroa incursion, the mites themselves want to come into the beehive and go straight under the cappings. So whilst you do a wash, okay, you may not necessarily pick up the mite in that wash because they're all under the capping. So uncapping just allows you to get that detection of what's inside. It just shows you also the numbers of mites, where they are. A lot of mites all under the capping. You still get a few. It's just a demonstration to say, if you do have maybe some drones in your hives now, have a go at uncapping and having a look inside those to see if you can identify for presence and absence. All right.
Just on that.
Yeah.
The tapping.
Yep.
A lot more. Is that after you've uncapped?
Correct. Yep. So it's just the mites that are still stuck up in that cell. Okay. They might be in amongst the bee bread, the food, and in amongst the larvae and the pupae. It just, by tapping it, just basically bangs them out.
What if it's not capped? Sorry, what if it's not scratched and uncapped? If you tap anyway,
It won't open the cell. Yep. You need to be able, you have that cell that's open. No, look, it's a matter of, look, you're not going to do that all the time. It's just a matter of, if you do have some drone, you've shaken off the bees and you've got some drone there, you can just do that as an initial detection. As soon as you've identified Varroa, okay, we don't need to uncap. We know it's here. It's just saying that in this early stage, it is a great tool to identify presence or absence of Varroa mite. Oh, okay. So, going back to case studies. Hang on 2 seconds. Like I said, I'm not going to talk too much now because we've run out of time, but what I would highly recommend you doing, going to varroa.org.au. Now, what you can do is you can go across the top menu here, and if you go manage, a drop-down box comes and there's a menu item of case studies. Primarily, about 80% of the case studies that I was going to talk about tonight are listed here. So you can go, there are videos, interviews with beekeepers, and some great resources for you just to look at and learn about what's happening on the ground. Okay, so that is case studies. In addition to that, you can also look at treatment plan. How are we going for time? Are we getting super close? Yeah?
Would you like to just come back?
Can I have 5 more minutes? 5 more minutes? Can we do 5 minutes? Okay, so what I want to do is just talk about what's on your seats so that you've got some context with some materials that you can take home. So developing a management plan. Again, what I would recommend you do before we meet again is go to varroa.org.au, go to manage, go to treatment plan, and you can have a look there. Now, I'll leave that up. Right in front of you on your seats, you firstly have need advice. Say again, sorry? Yes, there are spares at the front. Yep, absolutely. So if you haven't got one and you want one, just race to the front quickly, grab a seat. And there are some spares. So you've got a small advice. It's just basically the Varroa Development Officers, the VDO's numbers. So if you want some advice, you want to catch up with us, we'll go to a cafe, we'll sit down, have a tea or coffee, water, juice, and we'll sit and talk you through this. Or we can come out to your beehives and help you do some monitoring, washing or whatever. So there's our contact details. Second to that is the Varroamite chemical chart from ARBIC, the Australian Honeybee Industry Council. Now, this is really going to become a key document for us as beekeepers, talking about treatment. So you may have all seen this before. If you've been to a workshop, you would have been provided one. You can find them online now as well. Again, varroa.org.au, you'll see the links to them, or ARBIC Direct. But this talks you through the chemical options, both synthetic and non-synthetic, which are the organic options. So have a look there. Now, the next is the actual treatment plan. At the top, we've given you an example. So one thing to know about treatment plans is the fact that one treatment plan is not the solution for all. Now, we live in a very, very microclimate state. We live, geographically, we're very, very different, okay? From the Adelaide Hills, cooler, wetter climate, wetter, higher rainfall, versus Mallee, drier, versus agricultural areas, versus, all sorts. So we're very, very diverse, as well as all of those, temperatures, it all differs. So no plan is one fit for all. Very, very important you realise that. We've done an example here. Now, these plans are like, I hate to say it, but a yearly calendar of your operations. And the reason we've done this is basically the videos and all of these workshops we've been running, we've been out there talking to beekeepers and they're saying, I just want to know what my year's going to look like from treatments, and that's not only chemical treatments, but also mechanical, all right? So that physical means of removing the mites. So we thought we'd develop these, and this is where we've come to. This is an example of a hobbyist beekeeper with 2 beehives around these sort of Adelaide, suburbia, lower foothills maybe, areas, okay? So it's just an example to go through. Below that is a blank template for you. So what we were going to do tonight is actually sit down and start doing a bit of a template for yourselves. But there's a blank template as well, which you can have a play with at home. And if you go to varroa.org.au, you can open up that treatment page and it's going to give you a step-by-step process of how to work through this treatment plan to then start developing your own for your individual operations, okay? So I would highly recommend you do that before we meet again. And that way when we do meet, we can really get into the nuts and bolts and start fine-tuning these plans for yourselves, all right? But as you can see here, it just goes through some locational factors. Where are my hives, the temperatures? Then you start looking at labour inputs. The amount of energy, the tasks that you put into your bees. We start talking about those. Then we start talking about income producing. Are we honey production? Are we wax production? Are we pollination? And then from there, that's building us a picture of what our operation is and where we want to be with our bees at any specific time of the year. And from there, we can start inputting the treatments. Now, when I say treatments, it can be mechanical. Who has a brood break? Okay, generally we don't have much of a brew break, but we may want to start forcing a brew break because that's a great mechanical tool to reduce mite load. Okay, we may want to do a split. Okay, we may want it to be drone trapping. And then we can start looking at some of our chemical options, knowing about our environment that we're in. So that is developing a treatment plan in 5 minutes. It takes a lot longer than that, but I would highly recommend go and take a look at varroa.org.au, have a bit of a play with this, have a look over it, read the notes. As you can see on the example, we've got some dot points with some numbered points that will help you just explain what we're doing here as an example. It is not a how-to, all right? This is only an example. But have a look, have a read. Next meeting or next workshop we do, make sure you come along. Just a show of hands, who would be interested to come for a couple of hours in town? During the week, it'll be one afternoon or something where we can sit down and go through this in more detail. This will happen sometimes in the next 3 weeks. We've got a few? All right. Any specific day would be best? Would it be a Thursday? Wednesday? Everyone likes Wednesdays? No? Tuesdays? Mondays? Either Wednesday, Thursday seems like it's popular days. All right, leave it with me. We'll see what we can do. What I would like to do is thank you very much for having me along. If you need to get in contact with us, you've got our contact sheet now. This is what you do. Fly through. Monitor. Get out there, monitor your hives as best you can when you can. Early detection is the key. Call us, that's us. Questions, thank you very much for coming. There we go.
Thank you, Josh. And I'll be looking forward to an afternoon in town. Yeah, good. Before Trish pinches the microphone off me, I have been asked by Barbara just to acknowledge with a motion to have recorded in the minutes a thank you to the subcommittee and a special thank you to Amanda for the preparation of the Constitution and the bylaws. I want to say to all of you at the meeting tonight, thank you for your patience. It's not easy to go through that sort of a vote. And I know there are tensions and I know there are feelings. And I would like to say to Aphrodite, who voted against, don't think we're not thinking of you. I know you voted, and I am of the opinion that we should take into consideration your wishes. Thank you. Here. We've got to draw.
We do have to draw a raffle. Josh, would you come and draw a raffle for us, please? Susan, where are you? Sorry, I was behind. Oh, Susan just wants 1 minute to talk about the honey entries for the show.
Hello everybody, my name is Susan, for those of you who don't know. Just to let you know, in case you haven't remembered or you've not noticed, that the Royal Show is coming along in you can enter honey into the competition. So if you want to enter anything into the Royal Show, it's quite easy to do. You don't have to, you can enter a beginner's class if you want to. You can enter wax, you can enter combed honey, whether it's a frame or it's prepared honey. You can enter a candle if you want to, if you've got wax you want to enter. You can enter mead, so we have sweet and dry mead, we have candied and creamed honey, as well as obviously just a jar of honey. And you can, even if it's your own honey, make a cake and enter. So I just wanted to let everybody know, it's quite easy to find the entries. If you just Google the Royal Adelaide Show, it takes you to theshow.com.au. If you just search by honey, you'll find the competition and to enter. The entries close in 10 days' time. So please, if you're thinking about entering anything, get your entry in. Just log in on the website and enter. You don't have to have everything prepared yet. The actual products don't get taken to the show until the week before the show starts, when we judge. We judge in that week just prior to the show actually starting. But you need to lodge your entry, and again, they close in 10 days' time. there's 3 judges that go along. We don't want to sit there for 5 minutes. We'd actually like to be there for a few more hours than that and judging everything. So please do consider, if you know anybody else that wants to put any in, as long as it's your own honey and wax or mead if you're out there making it, please give us something to do and consider entering the show. Even if it's your first time, it's a really good experience to do. Thank you.
Thanks, Susan. Thank you. Now we've got 6 prizes at the back today. So Josh is going to,
How many we got?
6. All right. Simon.
Yellow D9 Simon.
Simon.
Thank you very much.
Head back. Thank you. Thank you, Josh.
Red H93 JD.
Oh.
Red H84.
3 kisses.
3 kisses. Look out.
Don't know who that is.
Yellow D16 Carol.
Oh, he got the shirt.
One more.
2 minutes. No, one more. 245. Oh, okay. Oh, it's the X one again.
Yellow D4, another 3 kisses.
Who's doing the kisses?
It's 3X.
Is it you?
Obviously, yeah.
All right, there you go. You got 2 there. Excellent. Well, that is 6.
That is 6. All right, as Bob said, thank you so much, everyone. We knew this could be a difficult evening. I'm sorry we didn't have Josh for very long. Thank you, Bob. You've done an excellent job.
There are a few still here. So people, there are a few
Papers,
Yes.
come up and pick up your hand up.
Come and grab them.
People who wish to have a quick rundown on Member Jungle and people who are having difficulty logging into Member Jungle, Aphrodite would like to take the opportunity of helping you step through that. We have a slide presentation on it, so those people who are interested quickly come forward, and Aphrodite is happy to be here and talk you through it while you're looking at the screen. Thank you, Aphrodite.
And Anna has said, please take a chocolate chip cookie on your way out because she's got a lot left. So please help yourself. Thank you, everyone. If you could just stack your chairs six deep to the side and feel free to stay and have another cuppa. Thank you, Aphrodite.